What's the word, Bills Mafia? You know we gotta talk about this thing here, man. Unfortunately, I don't want to do it, but we got to. Talking about the homie, the all-pro linebacker, Matt Milano. Unfortunately, man, the reports are out there and have been confirmed. He did sustain a pretty significant injury in practice the other day, tearing his bicep. They said he was doing a tackling drill, hitting the dummy, practice bag, nothing crazy, but unfortunately did tear his bicep and he's gonna have surgery. So with that, potentially, season ending, they classify it as indefinitely. He'll be out right now. I think the earliest he'll probably be back in terms of just from the guys that I've known that have dealt with this a specific type of injury. It's going to be December, January time frame realistically. But it's a massive blow. Let's not sugarcoat it, right? We know with Matt, we had high expectations for him coming into this season, especially following everything that took place last year with him going down week 5 versus the Jags. So, with that, the expectations were, since, he had a great offseason in terms of getting back healthy, that we could lean on him this year. But, unfortunately, that's not going to be the case, and we can't change what has happened. But the one thing that I will say in the sense of how we could find some positivity out of this, we did play, 12, 13 games last year without him. And we saw how our linebackers played, man. I thought at times they played valiantly and even were overachieving in some cases. But when you think about just the amount of guys that we used at times last year, I think that should help us understand that we do have depth in that room. Obviously, we know up front, Terrell Bernard and Dorian Williams, those are going to be the two that get called on first and get the, most opportunities to kind of fulfill Matt Milano's role, especially from a production standpoint. But we also got other guys we got to look at, man. We obviously know Balin Spector. He was here last year, man, made some plays for us. Deion Jones is a guy that I'm really excited about now, because with Deion, man, this is a guy that has had a ton of success in this league, was very productive at one point, but he's also had his fair share of injuries, and that's kind of what put him at this place in this stage of his career versus, how we thought it was going to be a couple of years prior to this moment. But I just think, man, for the room, you got to trust the guys that were here last year. We saw Terrell, we saw Dorian both step up and be very productive last year. I think that you trust those guys before you start looking out in other places and saying, man, do we need to go, sign somebody, trade for somebody? I think that you have two very talented young players there. For Terrell, he's going to have to grow up even more, but shout out to him because I thought he did a heck of a job last year. And then for Dorian, I mean, it's going to be a little bit easier for him this go around, because he does have that year under his belt. Whereas last year, like I said, man, first time out the gate, you kind of get thrown into that action a little bit sooner than what was probably the plan for him. But I think for both of those guys, man, they should be able to do fine, just like we saw from them last year, and make plays, man. So that's, like I said, the unfortunate update as it pertains to Matt Milano. A couple of other guys that we know have been down. Shane Birchler, let me not butcher that last name, but put him on injury reserve. And then obviously Chase Claypool is also on the IR as well, man. So a couple of interesting moves that have taken place, man, since, the preseason opener. But you guys let me know your thoughts, man, on Matt Milano going to IR and some of the other injuries that we've kind of sustained thus far, man. But obviously Matt's the big name, man. How do you feel about, his loss? And ultimately, what are your plans in terms of what the Bills should do to replace his production? We staying in-house, or is it time to look elsewhere? But either way, I appreciate you for tuning in. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you are new to the channel. And as always, just remember, don't nobody circle the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.